Johnny Depp. Actor, maverick, scarf wearer, hat owner. How does he keep making movies? Well, he doesn't exactly make movies. He's an actor, unless there's like a producing credit on a film, so it's not something he does. Anyway, he usually turns up, mumbles some words, then often gets nominated for a Golden Globe, or worse, just gets drunk on stage and says some weird things.
He's someone I consider a great friend, somebody, an incredibly...
But in all seriousness, I think Johnny Depp has definitely fallen off the wagon in the last few years, and has done and said some terrible things, to be honest, but mainly he's been in the worst films of the past decade. But why is he in so many movies, even after they bomb so terribly, and they're critically panned? Well, I'm here to mathematically prove that casting Johnny Depp in your movie is actually more likely to be a hit, and at the very least, break over $50 million. Minimum. Yes, Depp has been in some absolute garbage fires like Mordecai, which only grossed $7 million, or forgettable trash like Transcendence, which barely made back its production budget. Or slightly, but probably offensive, and if it's not offensive, it's just kinda plain middle-of-the-road boring stuff like Lone Ranger. But based on international box office and distribution, here's the thing, he'll very, very rarely lose money for a studio. Yes, Mordecai did lose about $20 million for Lionsgate. The film was basically a write-off if you compared that same year. The Hunger Games 4, Mockingjay Part 2, The Katnissing was bringing in over $500 million worldwide. Remember that extremely memorable film franchise? However, say for something like Transcendence, it made only back its production budget, but did very well on home video and digital. However, for something like, say, Lone Ranger, it cost $215 million to make, but how much did it actually make back at the box office? This much. It made 20% of its entire production budget back, and definitely covered Depp's fee. So okay, you might say, what about marketing? Well, we don't know a Johnny Depp movie is a Johnny Depp movie until we know that Johnny Depp is going to be in it. And to that I say, you are 100% correct, and marketing costs money. Here's the thing, in 2019, Johnny Depp is still technically a bankable star. When you look at big films that came out over the summer, it was not a great couple of months, or even something like Ad Astra, which only came out a few weeks ago, cost $80 million to make, and only grossed $48 million domestic. See, over the last 5 years, Johnny Depp has actually only appeared in one movie that grossed less than $50 million. He wasn't the main star, he was just a voice actor. And then on top of that, I did have to do a lot of research, because some stuff isn't on IMDb, or By the Numbers, or Box Office Mojo. And he only starred in 2 dud VOD films, one where he was a professor called The Professor, and another one where he's trying to solve the murder of Biggie and Tupac. Anyway, it's not important. Let's look at a very real recent example. Harry Potter -2, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, The Crimes of Grindelwald. Johnny Depp's appearance in the Harry Potter film franchise is definitely not out of character for the Pirates of the Caribbean actor. See, Crimes of Grindelwald is a big tentpole movie for Warner Brothers. He gets to have a little bit of makeup, a lot of fun with the character, gets to do his hair a little bit different, and he gets to obviously play someone that's a lot younger than his current age. If you didn't know that Johnny Depp was this age, oh, I'm really sorry I had to tell you this. Anyway, see, Crimes of Grindelwald is a big tentpole movie for Warner Brothers. Tentpole movies are movies that are hoping to generate far more revenue than initially invested or that they're actually worth. Also, it's from a time where cinemas were held up with tentpoles, I guess, much like the cinemas themselves. The movies hold up the studio, technically. Hold them up from making good movies, am I fucking right? The film cost Warner Brothers $200 million to make. Depp's fee is usually pretty close to $10 to $20 million a feature. Reportedly for this film, according to this website, it was $20 million. Usually for big tentpole films like this, the film production is extremely high in the $100 to $250 million range. On top of this, marketing is often an extra amount that sits on top of that production budget and is about 50 to 75% of the total budget of the movie. So let's err on the side of caution that say the film production was $200 million and 75% of that $200 million was close to, say, $175 million in total. So, all around, Crimes of Grindelwald costs about $375 million in total. Now, that is from the first day J.K. Rowling puts pen to paper and makes all the characters gay, to the final truck sending out the last poster to your local cinematheque. Now that's pretty high, right? 375 million? That's the GDP of the island nation of Palau, right? Wrong. Palau has less. Far less. Warner Brothers will own you one day, Palau. Get your fucking goddamn oceanic economics right. So with that, The Crimes of Grindelwald costs a lot of money, and everyone from the director to the grip to the studio executives are on edge for opening night. How will it do the first weekend? How will it do the first week? So for an investment of close to 5% of your total film, is Depp's fee actually worth it? Well, Beasts of No Grindelwald made $650 million worldwide, plus sold incredibly well for digital and for physical sales. It was over 73% return on their initial investment. And you know what that means? more Grindelwald, more Johnny Depp. So even if your film is plagued with controversy so bad that the original author of the source material you're working on has to come out and apologize for what you've done in the past, and there are so many bad reviews that it is considered the worst Harry Potter film in over 18 years of the franchise, it doesn't matter. You've got Johnny Depp. So overall, where does this leave Donnie Brasco? Rich. Insanely, ridiculously rich. But seriously, his current net worth is $650... No, getting a correction on that. I've got an update. It's $200 million. But that is still a lot of money. So look, Johnny Depp is merely an example of the fact that the richest and one of the most talented actors can fall from grace and give up their craft just so they can fund their ridiculous and lavish lifestyle of million-dollar wines and dogs that cause international incidents and your multi-million-dollar yacht. Jesus Christ, are you and Leonardo DiCaprio just preparing for when we all die of, like, climate change? And still you can do all that and get cast in absolute trash. Look, secretly, I actually made this video to give an intervention to Johnny Depp to be in a better film. So, John, can I call you John? Why are you doing this to yourself, baby? You can't go on like this. You spend more in a month than I ever have in my entire lifetime. In fact, I broke down your expenses and I found that you spend more in one day than I make an entire year, basically. So, good for you, but we miss you. We want you to play these amazing, brilliant, alive, charismatic people. You bring the audiences so much joy to bring these characters to life, and we miss you, man. We want to see you do more. Anyway, I can't wait for Mordecai 2. Mo money, mo Mordecai. You fucking idiot. Stop seeing Johnny Depp films. Just stop. Please stop. Please stop.
Well, I thought he was dead.
No, he's very much alive. Well, sort of.
You love me, won't you?
Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I know it kind of went off the rails at the end there. I actually had to watch Crimes of Grindelwald for this video. It's very bad. The critics and the fans were right. It is not a good film. Weirdly enough, Johnny Depp is the best thing about it, and that's kind of what inspired to make this film. A lot of people have this perception that he's not a great actor and that he just is in trash over and over again. That trash makes a lot of money. Speaking of making a lot of money, I don't. I obviously, I don't have a Patreon, but I do have a Ko-fi. If you would like to buy me a coffee with Ko-fi, there is a link in the description. It's ko-fi.com/HarrisonVid. If you want to support me, that's very good. I'm trying to make at least 3 of these videos before the end of the year. I might launch a Patreon in 2020, but for now, that is how you can support me. Other than that, please do like and subscribe. I do appreciate it a whole bunch. I'm glad that you stuck around for just this little point where I talk a little bit faster and probably more or less just less intelligibly. I'm sounding like David Koch. Thank you so much for watching my video.